Hi, thank you again to everybody who has taken the time to offer encouragement and support and wonderful suggestions in the comments. I really appreciate all of the positive feedback, and it means a lot to me. It also makes me feel more hopeful that with so many good people standing up to this cultural revolution, that we might have some hope of turning things around. I've been speaking with an attorney who feels that I have a case against Antioch. My goal is I would like to sue them to get my tuition back, the tuition for my program, which I feel was a bait and switch. It looked like a graduate program for counseling, but in fact, it was a program for cultural indoctrination, for ideological indoctrination. And there's still some discussion about what sort of theory to approach it under. I guess there's a couple of different angles, but this attorney feels like I have a good chance of doing this. He advised me to start a Give, Send, Go account. So I've done that. I will supply the link to that. If you feel like contributing, that would be lovely. It's apparently very expensive to file these lawsuits. But if I am successful, then it sets a great precedent and opens up the field for other people to file similar lawsuits against universities who are promoting this kind of stuff. And it also sends a strong message of accountability to the school that the replacement of our cultural values in our educational system with this new ideology is not acceptable, and that they are going to be held to account for what they're doing, for their attempt to remake our culture the way that they're doing. So I wanted to share with you guys a little bit more about what's going on. So as I said in that last video that I made last week, I have had my ID reinstated, so I'm able to access the student account online. So it looks like I'm still in the system. They've made some changes. The name on my account is a little bit different. That when they're emailing me, they're using a different version of my name than they were using before. They've also removed, here, I'll share my screen with you right now so I can show you what I'm talking about. So they've also removed this is my, that program I was telling you about that we have called Sakai. It's just like a learning platform for sharing for online education. And so I used to have a list here of every course I had taken at Antioch, and it was like an entire list, and each course could be clicked on, and you could go inside and see the syllabus and the forum, the discussion forums for posting with your peers and the teacher and all sorts of stuff, assignment submissions and everything. And now the only thing I'm seeing is the very last course that I took, which was an advanced addictions course. So I also had right here up at the very top was a folder called student resources, and I would open it up and you could find within that social justice resources. And that's where I had a bunch of stuff that I sent. I think I posted that to my Substack. But under sites, I can still, and these are screenshots, so I'm not doing this live right now. I'm just showing you what I did the other day when I was taking these screenshots. So under my sites, there's like my current sites, and then there's joinable sites. When I click joinable sites, I do still get some things that are a little bit, that show kind of what they're up to. One of them was this one. I think it had the name of someone on it. So I didn't really want to out these people by their names. So I whited out their name and the name of the thing, but it's an anti-racism resource site. And you can see this is what's available for these counseling students, for me and my counseling student peers. And it is a bunch of, here's the white supremacy pyramid, the covert white supremacy pyramid, with all these different things that you can click on that they're offering you to think about. It goes on. So here's the rest of it. You can see. And this is kind of like the stuff that that our multicultural teacher spoke with us about. It's just it was like headings, these little cliche sort of headings. And this is the way that they're promoting us to think about race. They have resources like this in that same one. That's one of the ones that you can click on. Contradictions for white people in racial justice work. I just want you to just take in the tenor of this. Excuse me. White supremacy and anti-Blackness, a covert and overt beast. It's just one of the articles that you can click on in there. And so it kind of just goes on like that. I'm just demonstrating this kind of the tenor of the materials presented to the counseling students. Excuse me, tickle in my throat. This is, I might show this to you, but here, I first want to come over here. So this is my account. I'm in there right now. This is my Antioch mail account. And I just got this today. It's the continuing education for November. And so it's very similar to the one that I showed you from October. You can just go down here and see all their offerings, the different names. They still have this one, the sexual health concerns that impact people with vulvas. And then you just kind of come through here. It's all different stuff. Some of it is like just what you would expect to see. Midterm elections, I don't know what that's going to look like there from their perspective, but what I wanted to come up here and show you is here, when we go to more, and follow this, and you come to their programs that they're offering. And here, this third one down is called Trans Theory. So I'll go ahead and click on that. You can find out what it's about. It's to explore the nature of gender and gender identity by understanding the lived experience of transgender and gender variant individuals. Examine the self and socially constructed aspects of identity through the lived experiences of those with intersecting identities, and understand how language plays an integral part. And so who's this by? The tuition proceeds will support Colors LGBT Youth Counseling Services. Here's the person who's putting it on. This is a trans man teacher. And let's see, let's go to this. We're gonna copy that and put it in here and go up and find Colors. Colors LGBT Youth Counseling Services. And so this is an initiative of the LGBT specialization at Antioch University in Los Angeles. And what this is free and unlimited therapy for LGBTQ youth. They provide LGBTQIA+ affirmative counseling and healing services to people under 25 and their families. And so you can just kind of see what this is. You can get a master's with a focus in LGBTQIA+ affirmative psychology. We go back to this, and here's this person here, and he has a website for invisible tmen.com. So we'll go look at that. And this is an advocacy group. It's an activist group. They have their statement on Roe versus Wade. Very strong opinion. It's an opinion. They can have that opinion, but it's a very strong opinion that's being supported by the school. And their health, their resources, contact, their partners. Let's see, funding supporters. And this group called the Invisible T-Men is funded by Colors, so by Antioch. And this is talking about how men can be pregnant. And what's this thing? That doesn't look so good. This is being promoted by Antioch. And I pulled this up. Is this where it was? Yeah. So I found this. Like, what is LGBTQI plus affirmative therapy? And so these are the 15 guidelines, according to this website, of what it means to be LGBTQI plus affirmative. It means all these different things. We're supposed to wonder about the way sexuality, family, and gender are constructed by the cultures we live in. This is that cultural deconstruction. We're supposed to really wonder about that and ask, is that right? Or should we be doing things totally differently? And something that really stood out to me is this part here, number 11. Remember that even incredibly young people have nascent sexual identities. And so we are wanting to push people into this way of thinking. So what this says to me, it's just illustrating that this is not an objective course. This is not, these counselors are not being trained to take a non-judgmental and objective approach with their clients. I think it is, in my opinion, appropriate to have the counselors be non-judgmental around these issues. And if you have a client that presents with whatever personal identity, you help them explore that and talk about that if that's something that they want to explore and talk about. I'm not suggesting that I think a counselor should be pushing up against that and judging the client and asking them to be different, or like the whole concept of conversion therapy. But when all of your teachings are promoting a certain way of looking at the world and promoting a certain philosophy, that's not objective either. And how is that going to serve these young people who are coming in to see these therapists, these counselors? They're promoting an LGBT plus affirmative therapy specialty because the goal is to get kids and young people who are seeking mental health care, coming in with these issues, to be funneled into that specialist's office. So if you're just a regular old counselor, LMHC or whatever, then you don't have the specialization required in order to work with that person. And so that's the idea, is refer on to that person who does have that therapy specialty. And so in the interest of keeping this video short, I'm just going to leave it at that. I just wanted to show you guys a few things that illustrate the bias in this area. There are plenty more. That was just something I was coming across as I was looking through it today. And I have another thing I was considering showing that let me know if that seems like it would be something interesting. If you want to put it in the comments, you can let me know. I pulled up a few of my papers that I wrote in that multiculturalism course that I was talking about, where I'm trying to sort of respectfully push back against some of the more stereotyped racial attitudes that were being presented. And as I'm looking back at these papers and I'm reading the instructor's response, it's quite striking to me how unprofessional her responses were. She would sort of respond with, I wonder what it is about you and about our identities that's conflicting, that's making you question this coursework this way. Or she said at one point, I am concerned about your responses to this course, but not for the reasons that you bring up. And then she's going on to sort of question my mental health, and do I need to do further work on myself in order to get me to accept basically the CRT framework that's being presented by the course. And so the only reason I hesitate to bring these up is I would have to sit here and read you a paper that I wrote, and I don't know if anybody's interested in that. That's a little more subjective. I'm not making these videos to really complain about my own personal experience in school, but more to demonstrate what people are being exposed to in these therapy programs at large. So I'm not sure I really want to make it all about me, but I can certainly go through that if there's enough interest in it. And again, thank you for taking the time to watch and for your concern about these issues. I personally really do feel that there's a core of truth in what the social justice movement is trying to, what looks like it's trying to promote, which is this idea that we're aware that different aspects of your identity, not different identities, different aspects of one's identity, say your demographic characteristics, can predispose you to experiencing things in life that you might not have had the likelihood of experiencing otherwise. So, like, here's an easy one. A woman is more likely to be sexually assaulted than a man. Doesn't mean a man can't be sexually assaulted, and it doesn't mean that a woman necessarily has been sexually assaulted, but a woman is more likely to have experienced sexual assault in her lifetime than a man. And just like with that, there are different things that you may be more likely to have encountered based on your characteristics, your immutable characteristics. And I think that for people going into the counseling profession, it makes perfect sense to me that we would have some kind of a diversity class or a multiculturalism sensitivity course. I don't have a problem with that, and I don't have a problem with being, in fact, I think that that's great. I think we should be supporting the variety of people that we will meet, and be aware, just have some basic cultural awareness of those around us, and potential experiences that they may have had that we might otherwise not be aware of. The same goes for people with different sexual orientations and different attitudes about themselves in life than maybe we have, or one might have. So exposure to all of those concepts, I think that's fine and good and right, to develop the most objective perspective possible. But that's not what we're seeing here. We're not seeing exposure to different concepts. We're seeing a very strong bias presented. And that's the thing I'm just really trying to demonstrate here. And so I hope that's coming through, and thank you again for taking the time. Have a good day.